You can probably hear it. We're talking from backyard games to an international competition.
This weekend, the Valley Forge Casino is hosting the World Championship for the American Cornhole League. Joining us now from the Event Center is Trey Ryder. Trey, how's your arm feeling today, man? Are you ready to toss?
Well, luckily, my arm is well rested. I'm smart. I stay behind the scenes and let the pros do most of the work.
So professional cornhole, I think a lot of people think of this as a backyard game, something you do with friends and family, but I mean, it's a real competition. What can people expect this weekend?
I mean, yeah, that's really where it started, too. But these players over the past 4 years, ACL founded back in 2015, have really grown this sport into a professional sport. I mean, this weekend we're going to have close to 1,000 competitors competing for over $200,000 in cash prizes. And at the highest level, we got players from Oregon, Florida, Maine, California, and even an 18-person team from Australia.
Trey, so for people who are thinking, hey, I don't know anyone who would do this on a competitive level, they might be surprised to learn that there's about 19,000 players who are competing for events just like this one. If someone's wanting to join in on this maybe next year, what would you say to them as to how they should get started?
Yeah, best thing to do, you can go to our website, which is iplayacl.com. And when you go there, right on the front page, there's going to be a link that says Getting Started with the ACL. And what that's going to do is that's going to find you directors and events near you, and you can get plugged in with those events, start competing at your local level, in your local region, maybe even go to a conference event or two, and then eventually, if you're ready, you can make your way to one of these big national events.
Hey, Trey, so I have a cornhole system playing apparatus, if that's what you want to call it, in my backyard. And I know whoever backyard you go to, the rules change. So what are the rules? What do people play to? How do you win the competition here?
Yep, so cornhole boards are spaced 27 feet apart from the front of the board to the front of the board. You got a 6-inch hole. The center of that hole is 9 inches from the back of the board, and the board is a 2-foot by 4-foot board. The back of the board about 12 inches from the ground, front of the board about 3 inches. You alternate throws with your opponent. For every bag that you throw on the board, you'll get 1 point. For every bag that goes in the hole, you'll get 3 points. But then we use cancellation scoring. So if you score 5 points and I score 3 points, you'll earn 2 points towards your overall score. And then you play to 21 or over. You do not have to hit 21 exactly. I know a lot of people in their backyards play the bust rule, but professional rules, you can go over 21.
Tyler, I lost a competitive game of cornhole recently in Annapolis, Maryland, because I kept going over 21. So what you're saying is I actually won that 3 times.
Yes, you won it 3 times. You should have been 3-0.
You're setting the record straight. Also, I do want to tap into what the atmosphere is like there, Trey. So, of course, we're talking about the camaraderie there. It's a fun event, but it seems like it's pretty high intensity.
Yes, certainly. For a lot of our lower skill level divisions, people just coming out like our social division just to have a good time. It's kind of that camaraderie, have fun type atmosphere. But at that pro level, tonight when we have our ESPN3 broadcast at 8 p.m. and then tomorrow our ESPN broadcast at 1 p.m., the intensity is going to be high. People are going to be locked in. Some of them will have their headphones in. Who knows, maybe even see some sunglasses with some poker faces. But these guys and girls are going to be locked in. They're competing for a lot of money, so for them, it's serious business.
All right, Trey, we're going to come back to you in just a little bit, and we're going to find out what makes a good cornhole player. So stick with us. We'll be right back after this. Thank you, sir.
So again, we're dropping back in to talk cornhole, more than just a backyard game. We're talking the World Championships. It's at the Valley Forge Casino Event Center. And
joining us now, Trey Ryder continues. So Trey, what makes a good cornhole player? What are the tips of the trade here?
Yeah, well, really really step one to become an elite cornhole player is getting what we call a flat bag. So all of these top players, I don't know if you can see it behind me, but they're all throwing the bag and spinning it almost like a pancake or a frisbee through the air. That way when it lands on the board, it'll slide straight up and into the hole instead of jumping left or right or hopping over the hole. So that's step one. Step one is getting a flat bag. And then just like anything else, step two is really just practice, practice, practice. Some of these guys will play 2, 3, maybe even 5 times a week, whether it be practicing on a board by themselves in their backyard or just playing in the local leagues to get that game experience and playing against the talent that's around them locally.
All right, Trey, I'm writing down all these tips because we were playing some cornhole here in studio, and clearly I need some of those. But we also want to talk about the bags themselves. We were curious. Do you have to weigh those? How do you make sure that they're all fair game?
And is it always corn inside of those?
Yeah, so great question. So the ACL has a BYOB policy, but this time it's bring your own bags. The bags are 6 inches by 6 inches, and they weigh 16 ounces. So they're about a pound. There's some plus or minus on those numbers. And they're all two-sided bags. So on one side is a tackier material. Sometimes it's a suede material. And on the other side is usually a cloth or a moisture-wicking fabric that is much slicker as it travels up the board. And what we've done is what we do is petition bag manufacturers, and they can submit their bags to be approved on our list. So as long as the bag is on the list and it meets all the specs, players can bring those bags to play here at our tournaments.
Have you ever had an issue with like pine tar on the bottom of a bag or glue perhaps? Any performance-enhancing bags going on, Trey?
We actually had to put it in our rules that you couldn't apply anything to the bag. Some players, when it got super wet and humid, they put like baby powder on their bags to absorb the moisture. That way it started sliding again instead of sticking on the board because of all the moisture.
All right, maybe putting some Vaseline on the board to let it slide right in.
Yeah. Well, Trey, thanks again for joining us, sir. Good luck with everything. Again, the American Cornhole League 2019 World Championships happening at the Valley Forge Casino Event Center today and tomorrow, 9 to 5 today, 9 to 3 tomorrow. Good luck, Trey. Thanks again.